Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to her Panwo TV. Right, well, it is now 1 week until the 21st of December 2012. Well, actually it's 8 days, but I won't be here tomorrow, I'll be away, so I won't be able to film. Now, we've all heard an awful lot about this, the Mayan calendar. Basically what's happening is, on that day, in 1 week's time, something's going to happen that doesn't happen, won't happen again for another 5,126 years. That is, the long count of the Mayan calendar will change over. I mean, some people say it's going to be it's part of an even bigger cycle, and it's going to be something that won't happen again for another 26,000 years, or even 48,000 years. I mean, it's I've got a bit of a cough. Now, what does that mean? Well, as far as popular culture is concerned, we know about it through that Roland Emmerich film, which 2012, The End of the World. Surely it must be one of the most overhyped travesties in all time. It's absolutely terrible. But like all his films, are very overhyped, very overrated, hyped beyond belief, but they're utter crap. And this one popularised the idea of 2012 in terms of destruction. There's an entire 40-minute segment in that film of just continuous scenes of buildings falling down, famous landmarks crumbling, continents drifting at the sea, huge ships over capsizing, things like that. The thing about it is the Mayans, who invented the calendar, were a very sophisticated pre-Illuminati culture, and which means they had spiritual knowledge that we don't have today. From what little we know of their writings, the tiny amount that was saved from being destroyed by the Vatican, by the conquistadors, we know that they didn't believe in the idea of the apocalypse. This is a purely Judeo-Christian vision. The Book of Revelations, the New Jerusalem, the 666, stuff like that. That's all Illuminati culture. The Mayans believed in a recurring cycle of ages that went on eternally. That was their view of the world. It was a cyclical, eternal vision of the cosmos. There was no beginning, there was no end. These cycles go back for eternity, they go forward for eternity. And what they believed was that these changing of the ages could be very, very traumatic, but they were not the end of the world. They were in no way cataclysmic, and in many ways they could be very beneficial. I mean, when the Mayan calendar last changed on the day, the 11th of August, 3114 BC, there was no great cataclysm then. What there was, interestingly, was the beginning of the Egyptian civilization began around that time. The first pharaoh took power in Egypt. Also, the kings of Sumer took control in the Sumerian culture in Mesopotamia. So, in a sense, that's where history began. Now, Sumer especially, I think, was the point where the Illuminati first took control of a nation state, and they progressed from there to the point where they are today, when they've taken over the world, and they're ready to go for their New World Order. This end of this period could mean the end of their rule. It could be, that the Mayans understood that, and the Illuminati understood this, that they had to get their entire New World Order done and dusted within that particular long count cycle, which means they've got 7 days left to go, and I don't think they're going to make it if that's the case. And where am I going to be? Well, I know some people are going to go to sacred sites, camping. I know some people are going to Avebury and Stonehenge with their tents. It is unlikely the weather's going to be very amenable to camping unless we're extremely lucky. I don't particularly want to have to wrap myself up in 6 sleeping bags and then brush the snow from the tent flap with my numb fingers to go out to the toilet every half hour. My commitment is not that great, I'm afraid. So I'm just going to go to a Staines place. I'm going to be with her. I've got a daughter in Oxford, obviously. My father lives here too, but I've spent every Christmas with them for the last few years, so I'm going to you know, I think I had to make a decision, you know, and I decided to go to a Staines place. I will film from there. I'll bring my camera with me. If possible, I will upload them as I go, you know. But at the 11:11 moment, we're going to be doing a meditation. Now, 11:11, people keep saying, I keep seeing the number 11:11 everywhere I go. People have been saying this for the last few years. Well, interestingly, of course, the long count changeover of the Mayan calendar coincides with the Winter Solstice, which of course is part of the natural calendar. It's part to do with the movements of the Earth. It's not attached to anything that humans have made. That's probably not going to happen again for another 5 million years or so, probably. Now, the very moment, you see, the solstice is a moment as well. It's not just a day. It's the point where the Earth reaches its maximum extension on its axis. The very moment when it reaches that maximum tilt on its wobble and starts going back. If you imagine like a snooker ball, sort of like spinning, you know, if you give it side or screw and it spins, and then suddenly it stops, then goes back. It's kind of like that. And that is actually going to occur on 11:11 at GMT. That's the moment of winter solstice. So that could be a very significant moment. Now, what's going to happen? I don't think anything bad is going to happen. There's going to be no earthquakes, no hurricanes, no typhoons. You know, no skyscrapers crashing together while a plane flies through them. Nothing like that. Okay. I think it's just going to be, well, it's possible that a lot of people are going to be very disappointed because nothing obvious will happen at all. And it's going to be, you know, the worst thing that could happen is you could wake up on December the 22nd with a hangover. Not so much Armageddon as Armageddon a sore head. I think that's the absolute pits. That's the lowest you can go. I mean, there's going to be nothing worse than that. All right. It could be, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be something good. But don't be too disappointed if nothing happens straight away. You see, it could be, I mean, Ian R. Crane has talked about this. That could be the moment you hit the 100th monkey's point. Now, there's a link in the description box to the 100th monkey syndrome, where I talk about Lyle Watson. All right. Now, in that Lyle Watson video, I discussed the 100th monkey point in more detail. But basically, it's a moment of critical mass, to quote the name of the radio station. Now, when that point comes, it's been an uphill struggle up till now. It'll turn into a downhill run. It's like hitting the peak of the hill and starting to go downhill. Maybe, you know, something will, then you'll notice the effects. Maybe not today, as it says in the film Casablanca. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, and for the rest of our lives. I mean, there's nothing, and this is not something to regret. It's something to be pleased about. That's a possibility. So that's why we're going to do this meditation. The Mayan calendar. You see, the Mayan calendar is pretty complicated. Now, this website, this is Jeff Stray's website. He's written this book, Beyond 2012, Catastrophe or Ecstasy. I recommend that. And it gives you today's date. It's Thursday the 13th of December. That's the Gregorian calendar date. The Gregorian calendar is based on the Romans, which of course is Illuminati, through and through. And it gives a date. There's three separate dates. This is the long count. That's the Tzolk'in, and that's the Harb. Now, this book here, it's a smaller book, also by Jeff Stray, concentrates on the details of the calendar. Now, the long count is the interesting one because it's the one that's 5,126 years long. And it's a system. You have a period of 19 days, and each period of 19 days is called a weanal. 19 weanals is called a tun, 19 tuns is called a katun, 19 katuns is called a baktun. And a baktun is by the time you get up to baktun level, you're into centuries long time periods. And the 13 baktun cycle is this. So this is today's date. It's the 12th, the 19th baktun, the 19th katun of the 17th tun, of the 17th weanal of the 12th day, right? 21st of December 2012 will look like that, 13:00:00. That's when the cycle begins again. Now, there's these other figures here, 9 Eb 15 Mach. Now, that's the Tzolk'in and Harb dates. Now, The Harb is a simple 365-day calendar, which is probably used for practical purposes. It doesn't have a leap year. The Mayans got around the leap year problem by using Venus to adjust the calendars to the different. I've got a bit of a cough. To the cycles of the solar year. The Harb consisted of these different time periods. There was 20 of these, and 20 periods. Yes, it was 18 periods of 20 days, and one unlucky 5-day period. Now, at the moment, you see, it's 15 Mach. There's Mach. That's the Mach time period. And so, what's going to happen is you can work out, if you count forward 7 days, that you go on to the next time period, which is Kankin. So the 21st of December 2012 will be 3 Kankin. Now, the hot Solkin is more complicated. It's a 260-day period. This was the sacred calendar. It's based on the gestation of the baby in the mother's womb. It's the sacred calendar, which consists of an interlocking cycle of 13-day periods, and also these day signs. This row of day signs here, you see? Go to the Tzolk'in bit. It's a 260-day calendar. It's ceremonial. Each day number and day sign is progressed by one, so that one time period is followed by another. And basically, there's these different different things here. These are the day signs of the Tzolk'in, and you can trace them on this diagram here. It looks a bit like a Scrabble board. You may have seen this before. It looks a bit like a Scrabble board, but it's actually the calendar, the Mayan calendar, the Tzolk'in calendar. And what it does is you go. Each of these day signs is repeated by you have a 1 and that, 2 and that, 3 and that. It's not like the Harb. You don't stay within the same. Each day sign, it changes each day. The day sign changes every day. So today is 9 Ebb, right? That's Ebb. So you follow, you trace the ebb there along the calendar until you get to the number 9. There, that's number 9. That's how the Mayans wrote numbers, in dots and dashes rather like tally strokes. And that's where we are today. And so if you go forward 8 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you can find that the Mayan calendar changeover on the 21st of December 2012 will be 4 Ahau. And that's the day sign is called Ahau. So it's 4 Ahau. And so the time will be 4 Ahau 3 Kankin. That's the name of the day in the Tzolk'in and Harb. Okay. Now the Tzolk'in and Harb only correlate once every 52 years, because the Harb runs on a different period. So it's like different interlocking cogs. You can imagine them of interlocking cogs running together. That's how it basically functions. So this is kind of an advert, really, right? Because on the 18th on Tuesday the 18th of December, which to give it its Mayan date would be 1 Ik, I will be doing a Hapanwo radio special on the Mayan calendar. That will be it's at 9 PM Tuesday the 18th of December. All right, keep watching the Hapanwo radio site. All right, for more details. I'll put a link in the description box. Well, I'll be discussing all the details of the Mayan calendar. You can also read about it on this article here, which is 2012. Rumours of our deaths have been greatly exaggerated. There's a link in the description box to that as well. Now, on this is going to be a very good radio show, because I'm going to discuss the Mayan calendar and lots of other subjects as well with this guy. Andy Thomas is going to be my guest. Andy Thomas, you probably almost certainly have heard of. He's a conspiratorial and spiritual researcher, and very, very optimistic eschatologist. He doesn't believe in the doom and gloom theory either, so it should be an interesting show. So Andy Thomas and I will be on Hapanwo Radio Tuesday the 18th of December, 9 PM. It's moving. I'm moving to the late slot. It was 7 PM. Now it's moved to 9 PM. Okay. So basically, I shall see you on the other side of Armageddon. Don't worry. I think we're going to be okay. So I'm not concerned at all. Some people are booking after apocalypse parties, especially the skeptics. But I think there's no reason why we shouldn't do it too. Thanks for watching Papanwo TV. Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity, stop the New World Order.